I'm Alexandr Osipian, a Ukrainian historian, now based in Berlin. At the moment I am affiliated with the Freie Universität of Berlin, Osteuropa Institute. I got my scholarship for 2 years from Andrew Mellon Foundation. And in Ukraine, I was graduated from University of Chernivtsi, and I got my doctoral degree at the University of Donetsk. And in Germany, I already spent 4 years. For 3 years, I was affiliated with Leibniz Institute for East European History and Culture in Leipzig. And then I was invited as visiting professor of Ukrainian history to Gießen University, where I spent 6 months teaching the students 2 courses in pre-modern and contemporary Ukrainian history. My current research is about deindustrialization and its political implications. So with main focus on post-communist countries, but comparative approach is important for me in order to compare deindustrialization in Western world and in post-communist Eastern Europe with main focus on post-Soviet Ukraine. Deindustrialization is very much connected to globalization, and if some people, some politicians, they consider globalization as something positive, it's not so good for industrial workers in Western countries, because starting from 1970s and until now, so last 5 decades, many industrial jobs moved from old industrial countries, from Western world, to so-called emerging markets, to newly industrialized countries like China, India, Turkey, Brazil, or South Africa. So many industrial plants in Western world are closed, bankrupted, and many workers lost their jobs, and for sure it has some political implications. For instance, in 2016, probably many were surprised that in Great Britain this Brexit happened, but if one will take a closer look, he will find that most of the voters who voted on referendum in 2016 for Brexit, they were from these old industrial regions on North England and South Wales, so heavily affected by deindustrialization. And if before they traditionally voted for Labour Party, then in 2016 they voted for this conservative isolationist agenda of Brexit, because they consider these unification processes, globalization and deindustrialization as connected. So they lost job, and their native town is declining because of globalization. And the same in the United States. In 2016, Donald Trump, he won the elections because of so-called swing states, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Illinois. They voted for the first Trump for Republican Trump, when before they voted for Democratic parties. So what happened? This part of the United States, so-called swing states, they are also defined as Rust Belt. So it's old industrial region which lost most of its industrial jobs in last 50 years. And probably Detroit is iconic image of this deindustrialization and decline. So my point is that many social, economic and political processes in post-communist countries, they are also well connected to deindustrialization which took place in last 3 decades after the fall of communist regime. And so a scholar has to compare these processes in Western world and in post-communist countries, including post-Soviet Ukraine. The second point is that industrial heritage is very much important. For instance, here in Germany, one can observe deindustrialization as well, but it had not so disastrous political implications as Brexit in Great Britain or Trump victory in the United States, because this old industrial region of Ruhrgebiet became a part of Germans' national heritage through development of this industrial heritage. So all these coal mines and plants in Ruhrgebiet, they are not just abandoned. So they turned into industrial heritage. Some of them museified, others turn into tourist attraction. So the locals in Ruhrgebiet who lost their jobs, they are not disappointed, they are proud because their old factories and coal mines are turned into industrial heritage. When in post-communist countries it did not happen, I know only a few examples in Poland, in Romania, when these bankrupted industries were turned into tourist attraction. And nothing of this sort ever happened in Ukraine. There is not even such a notion as industrial heritage in Ukrainian social sciences. So, in my view, many processes, political processes in post-Soviet Ukraine, particularly in last decade, they can be properly understood only through a combination of these two phenomena, deindustrialization and politics of memory. The absence of industrial heritage in Ukrainian memory politics is evident, and it's contribute to these so-called memory wars in Ukraine in last 2 decades. Thank you.